time. Like you have to kind of earn that authority
Yeah.
to say that shit, to kind of have that kind of insight. Even though he's representing the writers on the show, it's still like you got to be like the most trusted guy in leftist comedy, kind of like.
Would you have thought the same thing about Jon Stewart early on when he started to go political?
No, but I was aware of Jon Stewart for a really long time before The Daily Show.
Right.
So even then, he had, to me, as a viewer, he had a little bit more credibility in that position. Like,
because the Jon Stewart show on MTV really broke it in for you.
I actually used to watch that, and he used to do this other show called You Wrote It, You Watch It before that, and I had just kind of I was coming up at the same time he was. I was coming up as a human, and he was coming up as a celebrity. So I felt like I was kind of watching him grow.
Yeah.
And then so by the time he's doing the Daily Show and he's starting to gray a little bit on the side, it's like, yeah, that's like my Cronkite right there. You know? And
so just even explaining all that, you're also still aware that's completely like a bias.
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think that's a bias you have to be aware of when you're casting roles like that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I think I would be willing to bet that that's a lot of people's issue with connecting with him. You know? Even though it's a bias probably a lot of people have.
Who should have taken over Daily Show?
That's a good question. But I mean, it you know, like a Samantha Bee or, you know, like
she got her own show.
Right. But I'm sure she wanted that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure.
Yeah, she's on, she's on TBS?
She has her own show now.
Full Frontal, yeah.
Does TBS do good?
TBS,
they're like rebuilding right now, right?
And I'm not sure anything they're doing is actually going well, but they're trying really hard. So everything that they do produce, they are riding for marketing wise. So
but it seems like a lot of the stuff they're doing is like just stuff that other people are already doing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I don't know. They did the
you know, like AMC came out and they like completely revamped. They were like, we're only going to do like these dark.
Yeah. They obliterated a lot of the competition. Well, Mad Men was like what helped them. But I feel like TBS is like the...
You know what I know TBS from the most?
TBS is like the Rudy of cable television.
WCW.
All right, 605.
That's where I watched
605.
Yeah. For years, TBS. I was a writer for TBS.
That's real.
Because WCW?
Because, dude, it was like they made no qualms about being in an Atlanta station. Yeah. Like, you watch it, and I'm like, I don't understand any of the stuff that's happening except for WCW.
WCW just felt like DC Comics to me.
How dare you?
Like, you tried so hard, but
they were
not cool.
What?
You're just not cool.
They had an era where they dominated it. You didn't watch it enough.
No.
I don't want to get into it.
I mean, we can get real deep.
Yeah.
We can get real deep.
I couldn't even speak English at that time, actually.
Wow.
Isn't that why you said you weren't really into it? Because you were just like, why are these people...
Well, you were into WWF more?
No, I wasn't in any of it.
Okay.
The first time I saw Ghostbusters, I couldn't speak any English, and I thought it was fucking terrifying. I could not understand why everybody was laughing.
That makes sense, because, I mean, language is important.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it says, but it is to me, like, now it's one of my favorite movies of all time, but like it says something about the comedy style of how that script was written, that it was all in the characters and dialogue.
Right.
Because if you just put it on mute, it's like demons and monsters and
they look scared. The people fighting the monsters look scared.
Yeah.
So
they played it straight for the most part.
I mean, there was horrible things happening.
Yeah.
I mean, real, you know, for the time.
The library
terrifying effects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the time.
We were just talking about movies that like still stand up. And I was like, I've been trying to fight I really liked Swingers because it was just one. I got into Swingers because I was like, wow, people can make their own movie. That was like the first time I had heard about like these guys got together and Gorilla shot. Yeah, and I was just like, whoa, I want to do that shit.
Gorilla, they did that shit?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it.
It wasn't.
I know the Troubadour was.
It wasn't there was some guerrilla shooting. It was permitted, but it was a super indie film. So, for example, like they were shooting in a bar that was actually open, and people were walking around purchasing drinks. The extras were actual customers of the bar,
but it wasn't like they were smuggling lighting kits into place.
No. I don't. The lighting wasn't even that good.
It was better than when you have none.
Yeah. But when I saw that, like that was, I mean, it like defined a whole part of my life. And then I watched it the other day, and I was like, it doesn't. My mind has like. I can't deal with the bad lighting now, and I can't deal with like the, you know what I mean, like the camera.
You've done much better drugs now.
Desensitized
to those.
We should start the show though, because we're already like.
I thought we already started.
No,
don't.
We officially started.
You are now tuned in to the Crappy House Podcast.
Welcome to another highly pre-qualified episode of the Crappy Awesome Podcast. We're your host, the Diego Brown Project. I am Mr. Arash, even though nobody calls me Mr. And with me is KILLcRey, even though we'll just call him Chris.
There you go.
You know, a lot of times we start the banter before the show, and then like I'm more interested in the banter than I am in
You never go back to it, though. You're always
We're
like,
going to go back to it. We're going to go back to it.
All right.
No, we're going to do it.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about Aliens,
Okay.
the movie. We're, of course, brought to you by Platform Collection. Make sure you go to platformcollection.com and check out all the other amazing content that's on there. There's music videos and essays and content and videos and essays. And while you're there, check out our sibling podcasts. There's Culture Sessions hosted by Melathion and Archive and produced by Spock Beats.
Spock Beats.
The 2MX Hologram podcast. Still going strong. Not skipping a beat. Proof of Life Radio and Status Escalate. Both shows hosted by Kali.
Kali.
I'm going to find another way to say that. I don't really like it.
Sorry, it doesn't flow off the tongue.
No, it just doesn't. My tongue is not flickering right. Life on the Road with 60 East. Really, though? With Cookbook of LA. You're not doing like no echoes in the century.
I know. I'm
Okay. Really, though? With
Instagramming.
Cookbook of LA Symphony. Glad the priorities are straight. And the Ghetto Blaster podcast hosted by Ricochet. Orchestrated, hosted by Noah James and Lisa J, and more shows on their way soon.
Yeah.
Looking forward to sharing all of those with you. And, of course, 2MX Hologram Radio, powered by Platform Collection. Make sure to tune into that. There's hip-hop 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Very
hip-hop?
eclectic.
Very eclectic
No,
hip-hop.
it's no longer just hip-hop.
It's hip-hop.
Actually, it hasn't been hip-hop, just hip-hop from the beginning.
It's the spirit. It's not hip-hop music. It's the spirit of hip-hop flowing through.
Yeah. I mean, it was
The energy that's coming out of the radio.
It's a weird time to start a radio
and
station
into your drums.
and just have it like one genre, because
Yeah.
even that one genre, it varies so much.
Right.
So even the things that are related to the different genres of hip hop we're playing too.
Yeah. They're not necessarily the same street, but it's in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2MX Hologram Radio, powered by Platform Collection. Go see all of that at platformcollection.com. Follow us on Instagram at Platform Collection. That is one word, all spelled out. And on Twitter at Platform Collect
No shun.
with no shun. Shout out to Tor Project, open source privacy platform.
Save us from the hackers.
Save us from. Do something.
Something.
Make my student loans go away.
What?
Oh wait, that's anonymous.
I just wanted them to stop people from hacking the website.
I wish. Can we be sponsored by Anonymous instead?
I'm pretty sure people in that collective are part of Anonymous. Allegedly.
Oh, there's like an overlap.
I'm pretty sure.
There's like an overlap.
I mean, it seems like it. They use it. Anonymous uses it.
Yeah. So it's like the yoga community and Burning Man. Just because you instruct yoga, it doesn't mean you're necessarily at Burning Man. But there's an overlap.
What?
I was doing a segue because Burner Podcast is hosted by me. That's over at burnerpodcast.com. You want to learn more about Burning Man community and culture, yada, yada. Anyway, tell them about Stitcher and iTunes and all that bullshit.
Yeah, if you're listening to this on Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spreaker, go over to platformcollection.com. By the way, if you go to crappyawesome.com, I forgot to tell you this last time, it now just forwards you to Platform Collection. We've been talking about doing that for a minute. There's
We've
really
officially moved out of our old house, huh?
Oh yeah, we weren't doing anything there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're just
we were
hanging
never
around.
home.
Yeah, just smoking all day.
And you don't need like another
Yeah.
post of the same thing.
I don't need a crash pad.
Just go to Platform Collection. You can find everything there. Guys, thank you so much for supporting all the shows. Again, 2mxhologram.com is the direct link to 2MX Hologram Radio. Go there now or search 2MX Hologram Radio on TuneIn. We stream 24 hours a day with live shows throughout the week. Have you listened to LA to the Bay yet, Arash?
No.
Oh, D-Ski's show, LA to the Bay.
You've been raving about it.
Holy fuck, it's
Is it better than the other?
good. It's just, no, how dare you? I mean, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
I do a different job.
Yeah.
I bring you home on Friday.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a Friday drive show. And now I have a Friday drive show. That's a fucking dope. And that's as much as I want to do.
It's funny
I don't want to interview nobody. I just want to be like, yeah, we're about to play this right now. Like that's what I want to do.
That this has always been your dream, but you haven't had like a Friday drive home in so long.
I know. I literally haven't had yeah, but I remember driving
That hasn't
home.
been like your work schedule in ages.
No, I know. But I empathize.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, D-Ski's show, LA to the Bay, is amazing. It's literally like these little chunks of hidden hip hop history that he shares every week with the actual people. Like I said, the episode with Micah 9 is ridiculous. He interviews Daddy O from Stetsasonic. It's like,
how did he
Daddy O?
How did he do with Micah 9 versus us?
He did surprisingly well. You know what I mean? You know how like when we interview Micah, it's like
that episode
you're
was
just riding the microwave.
That was an endurance test.
Yeah,
of Zen.
It is one of the most downloaded episodes. You know that?
Yeah, really?
Because we told
because it's nuts.
No, because I re-edited it and said before you listen to the show, it would be really dope for you to get really high or take some mushrooms. And then experience it like that because that's how the room was. And now they do, and it's awesome. But anyways, go over there, check out all the shows. Cookbook's got a show on there.
I wonder what kitties are doing.
We're bringing new shows too from the East Coast, keeping that under the wraps. But
really,
dude, some two big names from the East Coast are going to be on 2 Minutes Hologram Radio. Check that out. If you guys are submitting music, please do not submit it to any of the hosts. Just send it. There's directions on how to send music in. It's on the website.
We would appreciate that.
Please do that. Please. I can't help you get played.
Are we done with the intro?
That's it, man. Mike Eagle's here.
Hey, let's go back. I'm here.
I heard some lucky guys live 100 lives and wake up with a stomach full of half-dead butterflies. I'm full of dread for the fade to the evening as each nightfall brings the blade to the guillotine. Some nights struck down trying to stand on my power. Most nights on my belly playing dead like a coward with eyes shut tight, no muscle flexes frozen. Don't speak to eke out a couple extra moments. I'm trying to slow my vitals doing silent breathing. It's the life of an offbeat show during pilot season. Execs want to see who can cancel be the most. So fast I never get the chance to be a ghost. The lifespan of a housefly traded for a peon in the sand with my mouth dry. Give me torture, give me terrible marching orders, give me dirty water, give me anything except shorter. Gunned down when it's sundown, murdered in cold blood every day. Yeah, don't hope true springs eternal like you don't know. I'm about to be gunned down when it's sundown, about to be choked out by the night. If I could just live for more than one day, I might be ghost. I'm hoping one day that my carcass is hard-boiled. I'm stuck in the cycle of a cartoon gargoyle. And if I live to be 101 days old, I grow straight up to the sun and get charbroiled. But maybe everlasting life is a curse, though. Eternity is drama, making life the commercial. But no 30-second advert has enough bill when all the night vision camera footage is a snuff film. Crush, kill, cycle of a sun is built, destroy. I fell on so many swords, my stomach's got a keloid. I've died on the phone, I've died over email, I've died in the silence where the limbs of a tree fell and lived for a brief spell. And lose consciousness in the middle of a grief yell. Waking in a deep well that started all over when the pendulum drift switched. But which two gods birthed this to begin with? Gun down when it's sundown.
Okay, Aliens.
Hey, low to bottom.
Aliens.
The movie?
Did not stand the test of time.
Aliens, the movie?
Yeah, with James Cameron.
Oh, I didn't like it. I was scared of it.
The original?
Yeah.
Like originally when you saw it, you didn't like it because you were scared of it?
Yeah, I couldn't even really engage in the story because I was just fucking terrified. So like,
That's a good movie, though.
I don't know. See, I don't like horror movies, man.
None?
I don't. I don't.
You just don't like to be
I
scared.
like the little kitty one. Like, I like Nightmare on Elm Street. Like,
Did you watch
shit like that.
Stranger Things?
I didn't finish Stranger
Hold on,
Things.
You didn't finish Stranger Things?
Hold on. Nightmare on Elm
All hell's breaking loose.
Way scarier. than
Okay,
Aliens.
but look. By the time I was really old enough to pay attention, they were on like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, and it was just
Dream
fucking
Warriors.
stupid. It was great, and it was just all, it was all like
Had a great soundtrack.
It was all Popeye quips and really like strange ways to kill people.
Yes.
That it wasn't really scary.
Yeah,
I didn't really like Friday the 13th because it was actually scary.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny at all.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah.
The first couple of Friday the 13th, I think back,
Horror.
I should not have been watching that.
The horror genre, at some point, they decided it doesn't have to actually be scary, but it's just this horror genre.
Right.
Yeah,
I
well,
wanna
because
see
to
what gets
scare
torn
people
apart.
for real is like,
That's actual work.
yeah.
But I feel like all the new scary movies are really scary.
I like it.
When I see the commercials for them, like, that looks fucked up. Like, like some weird little girl walking way down the hallway. I don't know. That don't look funny to me.
Dude, there's God, what is it? The Conjuring. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so you wouldn't see that.
I wouldn't say anything like that ever.
The Conjuring is my favorite horror movie of all
Really?
time. Yeah, people are like, oh, it could be better. I'm not a connoisseur, but that shit scared the shit out of me. me because they did things like this, right? There was a panning scene where the camera is panning from the hallway to the living room,
I'm
right?
already shook, man.
And in the back, you can see someone just standing.
See? I got goosebumps just from you saying
Here's the thing. They don't ever even reference it in the movie. That's how dope that is.
I don't like that.
No, I know. The director, James Wan, I believe his name
Yeah.
is. He is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Insidious, I thought, was way scarier. Did you see that?
Insidious?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guys.
The
right?
first one.
Yeah.
The first, I haven't seen the next
I love
two.
Insidious.
Oh, dude.
All of them are good.
Dude, that's got another panning one. That's the
Yeah.
one where she
See,
wakes up.
that's just-
She wakes up in the middle of the night and she's on the second floor, right? And then there's like the roof part that is like the shade structure above the front door. So she just wakes up to the sound of boom, 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 like somebody walking around on that roof on the outside area, right? And the camera's following the panning, and you see the shade of the figure walking around outside her window. Boom, 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 boom. Camera follows it. Boom, 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 boom. Camera follows it back. Boom, 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 boom. Camera follows it back. Then the camera falls back, and the figure is inside.
Yeah. Why would somebody want to experience that on purpose? I don't understand.
I think it's
I don't understand.
So you know you're not gonna.
Cocaine?
It's cocaine.
Yeah, I don't like cocaine, you know? I don't need those endorphins,
It's an
man.
adrenaline boost.
No, man. I don't want that ever to be artificial.
You've never gone to see like
No.
nothing, like where you're just psyched for like, oh shit.
No, I hate that shit.
So what is the movie? Are you humor? Are
Yeah, I
you
love
do you like
it. Yeah,
do you like The
anything's funny.
Notebook?
I've never seen The Notebook.
Notebook's pretty funny.
You've never seen
I've
The
never
Notebook.
seen The Notebook because it's
haven't
like
seen
the
The Notebook.
ultimate romantic movie, right?
Dude.
I don't want to watch no shit like
Good
that.
for
if I
you,
had a
bro.
choice.
Hold out.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Hold out.
I've been married 11 years.
Oh, okay.
man. Like,
Okay. You're past the Notebook phase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have to go on.
She's like, get that fucking notebook out of here. You keep leaving the notebook on the kitchen.
I'm intrigued by
Put
Aliens.
the toilet
though.
seat down. Fuck the notebook.
When's the last time you watched Aliens?
Oh, I haven't tried to actually sit and watch the movie since
Dude, it
I was
scares
a
him.
child.
Dude, it's interesting. If you watch it again, it's funny how the human brain works, the phantom memory thing. Because I remember we had this conversation with Mike Sager. He is editor at large for Esquire magazine, and he wrote this book called Freaks and Scary Monsters, and it's about like Hollywood gossip, like background, like terrible stories, stuff like that. Anyway, one of them was a story about Rodney King, and I was telling him the section where I was remembering how perfectly he described like this one character, like. I take it back. I'm sorry. It wasn't Rodney King. It was a hip hop story.
Yeah.
But it was Eazy-E, and saying like Eazy-E like swizzled something in his mouth, and then he made a smack sound, and then he answered the question in this way, and he twitched his face, and he was describing this whole thing, right? And Mike is listening to me telling him about all that section. He's like, "Here's the funny thing, I didn't write that." He's like, you created that imagery in your head, but that is not part of the writing.
Yeah.
And so it made me think about in Aliens. I remember when I watched Aliens as a kid, I remember the detail of the creatures. I remember seeing them looking huge and terrifying and like all this action that was happening. When you watch it again now, as an adult, like with today's technology, it's like strobe lights.
Yeah.
You barely ever see them. But
Yeah.
he's playing psychological mind games with you where he's implanting the idea that you're seeing these creatures in a lot more detail than you're actually seeing.
But it doesn't stand up.
No, it absolutely did.
Like are you talking like camera wise? Like,
Well, for one
it
thing,
just-
they just look like rubber aliens that you barely see. It's just strobe light,
Just
strobe
some
light.
dude in the alien
Yeah.
suit.
And then these Marines, I was like watching it now as an adult. Like I was
they were
embarrassed.
Marines.
Yeah, I was
Right.
embarrassed on behalf of the armed forces for this movie.
Oh,
like the
man.
Marines, Bill Paxton, dude, he's saying
like the girl with the scar, like
dude,
she has a scar.
game over, man. Game over. Just leave him. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what Marines would say. Just leave him. Fuck it. Don't worry about it. Let's get out of here. Like I was just like, there's no way.
Maybe a couple
Fucking
would
wrote
say
this.
that. I don't know.
Like the worst Marines in the history of
Yeah.
Marines.
That's always my favorite
like a
thing,
comedy.
though, when you have like movies like that.
Yeah.
People are in space, and then they show people like folding up in fear. Like, I love that because that's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's be a one brave guy, maybe there are a lot of people
What did I just
sitting in
see?
the corner going nuts.
The Arrival.
Oh, I
Have you
heard
seen
that's
Arrival?
great. I haven't seen it. I heard
Okay,
it was
Yeah, it was
fantastic.
fantastic.
that's why that movie's good.
Okay.
Because the like visceral
Right.
like feeling of if an alien came, like what would it really be like?
Yeah.
And they touch way more on that part. And the whole time I'm like, yeah, that's people would be freaking out like this. Like not like how in other movies where they kind of just come to grips with it like a week later. They're just like, oh, I guess there's aliens. We're going to have to fight the aliens. Yeah. Like, people would probably be jumping off of buildings and blowing their heads. Oh, dude, there's this movie coming out on Netflix. I just told Arash. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Is it a movie or a show?
Oh, it's going to be a series, I think. But it's about a scientist who discovers the afterlife. Like, he finds scientific proof of an afterlife, and then all these people start to kill themselves.
Oh, great! What is this?
That's what I told Rush. Robert Redford is
a scientist.
He's a scientist.
I love Robert Redford,
and he's kind of like he's like fighting for like the right for people to do this because it is proven now. So now they're literally just passing on to somewhere else, and it's their choice to do that.
Wow.
It starts to become a government thing. Oh, it looks awesome, though.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
I'm looking up the name of it right now.
Okay. Where's your podcast, man?
Waiting.
We talked about this.
Yeah, man.
The other day I saw you.
It's like
Discovery.
You explain people. Yes, Discovery's the movie.
Yeah. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in limbo, I think is the technical term.
Because when you said you were going to take a little break and be back.
Hiatus is what it was supposed to be like the amount of break of like when a show goes off the air and then comes back in the fall. That's what was supposed to happen.
Okay, so that was supposed to happen.
That was exactly.
But it hasn't happened yet.
No, it's not happened, man.
No. I got strung along by a network, and it was.
What does that mean?
Fucking infuriating.
Strung along.
Yeah, like so the network I was on redirected, and so they basically killed a lot of their shows, and they weren't re-upping the shows that they had.
Redirected to what?
So what happened was Infinite Guest was a sub company of American Public Media,
right?
And it was kind of just an initiative that they were starting, but they didn't know what they were doing. So they paid all this money up front to all these creators to make these shows, and they weren't getting the advertising on the back end that they thought they were going to get. And APM itself wasn't willing to market the shows with the marketing muscle that they really have.
Right.
So
because they weren't making money.
Well, I
don't think that was it. I think they didn't get it.
It's something like that. I think it's something like that. And I think they had left it to market itself.
Yeah.
But it needed the marketing muscle of APM. So what they did is they kept like 2 or 3 of the shows, basically the ones that were going well already before the network even started.
Yeah.
And all of those went to APM Direct. And so now they are marketing, and I think there is some ownership in it too. I think in our network, I believe all the creators, we all own the shows. I think the APM shows now they own them, so that they're more willing to put that marketing muscle into it. But it left my podcast homeless, and I was going to go to this other kind of poppin' podcast network based on the East Coast. They had expressed interest, and we had started having these conversations about what we were going to do and how they were excited to work with me on the next season.
Yeah.
And then I stopped hearing from them, and then there was another guy who worked for the company.
Wait. What does that mean?
I mean, literally, like we would have like these weekly phone calls. It would be like an hour or two talking about like what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like, okay, let's holler in a couple weeks, and then I would send an email and not hear nothing back for like a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're just describing my dating life at this point.
Oh, I'm sorry. I imagine that would
He's always trying to get a show on there too.
Yeah. A lot worse if my sexual life was involved.
Like they just weren't.
I mean, I'm not even trying to bone them. I just want to have podcasts with them.
Okay, so
podcast is a euphemism. It's great.
So you just and then you just decided, because I remember I ran into you the other day. You were performing at First Fridays, and you were saying you didn't have an interest in like producing it yourself anymore.
No.
Yeah, just time constraints.
Yeah, you know, and even when we were working together on mine, like, you know, even, and that was with the network, with everything, like it was still taking a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, and so my thing is to be with. I mean, I don't know, the goal at that time, and especially because there was a popular network that was like, we want to do this. It was like, fuck it, okay, they got all the manpower to make it happen. I don't have to do shit but keep making my show like I've been making it. So that was going to be the easy transition.
Yeah.
But I ended up wasting about 6 months of my time fucking with these people.
I mean, did you see it as a waste?
I do.
Why?
Because it was supposed to start in the fall, and then it was supposed to start in December, and then like when it finally hit me, it was just like it had been another long ass time since I'd heard from them.
Yeah.
After having like a really productive conversation, and then they sent me an email, basically saying like, okay, cool, we're still figuring out what we're gonna do for yours. But what about this other thing you're doing? You think you want to do a podcast about that? And I was like, whoa.
Like pitching you a whole new show?
Yeah.
But they just didn't, you don't think they liked the show?
I think that, like, I think maybe personally, because it's two guys, I think personally they liked it. I don't think they saw the money in it compared to what they have that's popular and what they're paying attention to. And I think that, like, when I think back, I think they were trying to push me into finding some way to change it to make it more money.
Gotcha.
You know? But I'm not really, at the end of the day, I'm interested in taking suggestions, and if it organically turns into something else, that's great. But I don't want to change it completely.
Right.
I want to
You have a show,
that
right?
I do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that at the end of the day, they weren't ever going to really just flat out say that. And that's why I feel like it was a waste of my time.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you feel like people get your show?
Nope, but the people who do get it, and that's all I need. Like, you know, like when I did that thing where I told people that damn secret word and did it, I still go on tour and people come up to me and they line up at the merch booth to tell me this word and do this handshake because it meant something to them. And there's people all over the world, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So it seems like people get it.
I mean, I think that, okay, when I say do people get it, I think the amount of people it's exposed to out of that complete X amount of people, it's not like something that just grabs people from jump. And like a Drink Champs, right? Like Drink Champs, when people heard of it, they jump in and all of a sudden they're listening to the last 10 episodes and they're along ride. Mine's not like that, you know what I mean? Because I'm not a super outgoing personality on my own. The format is very open. It's interviews with people who you may have heard of and you may not. And there's not a lot of hooks to it. You know, it's just my show.
Right.
And I think because of that, there's a lot of reasons that somebody could come across it, try it or not try it. And if they do try it, they could fuck with it or not fuck with it, you know?
Was the fan base of your show a good reflection of the fan base of your music?
I think so. I think there's a lot of overlap.
Okay.
I don't think there's a ton of people who were listening to the podcast that weren't aware of the music.
Yeah, so there's like a entry level course you have to take before you have to sit down and listen to your show because they have to kind of know you. Is that what you're saying?
No,
because I'm saying what is there not to give? These are like amazing interviews with people. It's very personal.
I think you got to be wired a certain way, honestly.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's what it is. Like I listen to a ton of wrestling podcasts. Like every week, I listen to like 6 or 7 of them. Yeah, and to me, they're endlessly fascinating. But I'm already, you know, like I'm wired to not only am I wired to interest in the subject, I'm wired to wanting to hear people inside of it talk about it.
To consume the media the way it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who listen to a lot of podcasts that don't really like listening to random conversations between people. Like people who like cereal. They like following the story. They don't necessarily like what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Okay, how long are the wrestling podcasts you listen to?
Some of them are 3 hours, some of them are 45 minutes.
And you listen to like 6 a week?
I think that's accurate, yeah, six a week.
So we'll say an average of 10 to 12 hours a week spent listening to wrestling podcasts?
I would say probably 8 or 9, yeah.
Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out, in your lifestyle and like your work...
Driving.
Okay.
And also... I play video games at home. And when I play video games at home, I usually have a podcast on when I'm playing.
You listen to sound effects?
No. Oh, you mean in the games?
Yeah.
Not often.
What kind of games do you play?
I'm into Dark Souls.
Okay.
And games like that, like action RPGs that are really difficult. It's like my shit.
See, like I really like that. I would want to hear the music and the sound and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I play them so much that like...
It's not nothing for you.
Yeah. You know.
And it's not nothing.
Okay, so also, Mike Eagle has a high output of work. I mean, you're kind of omnipresent. You have shows, you have production. Where the fuck do you find the time to do that?
To do what? To make shit?
To listen, to play games.
Oh, early in the morning, I take breaks throughout my work day.
Yeah.
And late at night if I stay up past when my family goes to bed.
It's kind of like a process of the day, right?
Yeah, it's
like
just a
this
hobby.
fits in.
Yeah, it's like a little hobby thing. And it's like, sometimes like I'm putting together an album right now. Sometimes if I want to sit and listen to the album in sequence, I'm playing a game while I'm doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you put out a high output of work?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't. It's funny though. Now I feel like I'm working on a lot of shit right now that I can't put out in terms of like I'm involved in a couple like TV things right now.
Yeah.
But they're not like shareable.
Sure.
And so like, I'm looking at my output now like, damn, I feel like I should have more out there. But it's like the things that I'm working on, like, because everything is in a different timing in that world. Like I got to wait on everything to line up and come out.
Yeah.
Was
that always the plan? I don't remember if we ever talked to you about that. Was that always the plan to kind of go into the direction of TV?
I think the original plan was to go in a direction of TV in a way that would make my music career easier just from having higher visibility.
Oh, I got you.
But the more I find out about that world, the more I understand it. Like, that world is thirsty for ideas in general, and I have a lot of them. So there's a lot I can do in that world.
Yeah. And more so in music?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, I think that, like, what I can do in music, barring leaping into the next echelon higher in terms of visibility. I mean, I'm basically going to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be making the projects I'm making. It's not going to be drastically different. And if I get in that upper echelon, then the income is different and the pressure is different. But I don't think that I wrote a script for a network at the end of last year. And
how quick did you write that? Like, was that a process?
I mean, it was me and another guy working on it, and we did the first draft in like a couple of weeks. The money I made from that script, like, it puts my music career to shame. It really does. Like, and just looking at that, like, the time in versus income out scale difference, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to spend, like, I'm finishing an album right now. The time I will have spent on this album, it's a lot longer than 2 fucking
Right.
weeks.
The return on investment isn't...
It's crazy.
It's never there, right?
I mean,
is it ever there for music?
I think,
For an album, rather. For an album.
Man,
is return on investment there anymore?
I think for Run the Jewels it is. You know what I mean? I think for Danny Brown it is.
Yeah, it's not for Danny Brown.
Well, you're right.
I just listened to, and that's why I'm asking you, just so people...
And it's funny, I know in that last case, I know why.
Yeah, he was saying about samples.
Yeah, exactly.
$70,000 on samples.
I mean, honestly, and that's for making a record with Paul White.
Yeah.
I just made a record with Paul White, too, and that is very true. Like, he is an excellent producer, but he leans on samples, and, him and his management are very much about covering their asses legally.
Yeah.
So they're trying to clear everything. And it's like, holy shit, you look up like, this is all the money.
Yeah.
This is,
Did that happen to you?
I mean, we only cleared like 2 things.
Yeah.
Everything else we just like, hey,
okay,
man,
I want to talk to you about that.
We're,
people still like that's. You still
Let's
do that.
Remember, we just had a conversation.
Yeah.
Just had a conversation with somebody the other day who was, they're at a local level, but they're doing pretty well. And they just hit us up on some advice. They said, we're putting this record out. It has a bunch of samples. Doesn't matter right now. And my answer to them for where they were at was it simply just did not. They weren't going to sell the numbers that was ever going to land on the radar for anybody.
And what's their distribution method?
Nothing. It's them.
I mean,
it's
but
in-house.
I'm saying, like, is it going to be on Bandcamp? Is it going to be on iTunes?
It is.
Okay.
It is. And the only reason, like, especially with the iTunes at one time, was a big concern. I can tell you firsthand, through our network, we have mixed shows all day, every day.
And they're on iTunes?
And they're on iTunes. They're
like
on
downloadable?
TuneIn.
Okay.
They're on everything.
Yeah.
And there's just a certain etiquette to how you put them out so you can stay off the radar.
Right. So we've had on with Burner Podcast and with Alkaline. Alkaline's a DJ mix show.
Yeah.
That we do. We've had 3 shows get pulled from YouTube.
They got pulled.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why though? I think that
SoundCloud, I feel like we're gambling with the possibility of getting the whole channel shut down.
this is what I'll tell you. We get pinged for every Proof of Life YouTube upload.
Yeah,
because
fuck YouTube.
Yeah, because they're not trying to pay anybody. Well, here it is. They're basically splitting that one video into. We played 50 songs. So it's 50 different. I literally get 50 emails.
Yeah, 50 flags, basically.
Yeah, but they won't pull it because none of those people complain.
Yeah.
Because we are literally playing everybody we know.
Yeah.
That
but you know what happens
is the companies.
Yeah, like the distribution
like
companies.
Not SoundClick. What's the one that everybody uses right now?
For
distribution, like online distribution, which is one of the big ones. No, SoundClick is like a Beats. But anyways, they're because you're paying them to do that.
Right.
A lot of people are paying them to do that. So, but you still have to push. They still have to push the issue. Because, dude, I'm telling you, literally, we have over 100 YouTube videos that they're pinged throughout the entire thing, and we just get the same warning every time. Don't worry, you don't have to take the video down. You're just not getting paid for this.
Right.
You're not getting paid for this. So it's zero. Yeah. It costs us zero, but the trade was zero.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The concern with SoundCloud is that what they've been doing is
they're turning to
canceling
iTunes
DJs like entire like channels. Basically,
they announced
closing down their account.
They did. They trumped you. They said they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do.
Yeah.
They said they were going to close down the mix shows.
Yeah, they want to be Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
You know.
Did Trump you like that's become a new phrase?
No, I just made that up though. I blazed my own path.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Blazing,
thank you guys.
We will follow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Blazing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to samples.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you didn't have to pay that much for that the Paul White record.
But it ended up being a lot though, and like when you're dealing with profit margins on indie rap records, we're counting dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the difference between trying to clear samples and not trying to clear samples makes a ton of difference.
Yeah.
You know? And
but I mean, tell them like when you mean ton, you mean like sometimes zero or some money.
Right.
It's that big of a.
It's that big.
Yeah.
You know, because you might be splitting $10,000 in revenue, but if you've got to pay $5,000 for this sample, $5,000 for that sample, you look up, there's nothing.
I'm gonna tell you not to tell other people what to do. That is a specialized magic trick. Magic trick. You have to be an adept to pull this off or put it on. Wash your hands, make no demands. Try to mind your own business. Wash your hands, make no demands. Try to mind your own business. It ain't even cold, people leg her up. And Lady Luck gave a fuck what you making up. Sometimes pain's even smaller than the paper cut. And while you all up in her face, she done faced enough. In LA, people judge you if you take the bus. And rich folks say, hey, come to space with us. What? Yo. You should be polite, you big dummy. Shut the fuck up and let that man get money. Look around your house for paintings left crooked. Fix them, and when you're done, keep pushing. And maybe there's some dust around your couch cushions. Try to know your congressman without looking. Try to know what bills is wild and outlandish. And who's on what committee for house action. I don't know either. You just seen bored. Fox News shows and bowls of cream form. Now I'm being judgmental, I get so pissed. Fuck political talk, you don't know shit. Fuck subliminal talk, you don't know shit. Conspiracy theorists, stop, you don't know shit. Alex Jones and Glenn Becker like peers. Modern profiteers of a culture of fear. Wash your hands, make no demands. Try to mind your own business. Wash your hands, make no demands. Try to mind your own business. It ain't even cold, people leg her up. And Lady Luck gave a fuck what you making up. Sometimes pain's even smaller than the paper cut. And while you all up in her face, she done faced enough. In LA, people judge you if you take the bus. And rich folks say, hey, come to space with us. What? Hi, it's me again. Hi. Sometimes I don't even know why I say things. All my heroes are singers that can't sing. I wanna paint things, but can't hold still. I miss my grandmother smile and her oatmeal. When I fuck up, I know how a goat feels. Remember when the homie driver dropped roadkill? That shit was so ill, and he's a friend now. The troglodyte one now, he's prehensile. Or maybe troglodytes was to begin with. Somebody turns to the T's in the appendix. Says I don't make much, I'm a spendthrift. I used to write dumb raps about pen spits, and now I write about dumb experiences. But they're very rarely the ones I have. They're usually some other people's, or they're just completely imaginary.
And there's already a ton of cost in having any sort of successful musical endeavor in terms of the money to spend on marketing and promotion and PR and all that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you're just adding costs. In a lot of cases, you're not adding value for those costs. You know, like you're paying for legal protection, but it's not like this sample made the album crazy better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus like paying a PR person, like it could make a big difference.
How did you pick? Like, how did you pick what songs to clear?
Well, you know, honestly, I just made the record how I usually make records.
Yeah.
When I like a beat, I'll write to it. And, you know, and it just happened to be that, like, one or two of them were like, oh, we're going to have to clear this. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
On their side more.
Yeah, because I don't know who he sampled.
Right.
And when he sends me beats, I'm not asking, like, is this one okay? I'm assuming we're going to ride with everything, you know what I mean, and figure it out. And it wasn't until we got to the finish line where it was just like, oh, this record is suddenly expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so is there...
Wait, how do you decide which ones need to be cleared?
They decided,
I
right?
think it's based on recognizability.
Right,
It's
right.
based on how they got a hold of the record, whether or not they know the rights holders, whether or not they know the go-betweens for the rights holders. It's a lot of things. It's mostly based on proximity and easily... whether or not the sample is easily recognizable.
There's a website. God, maybe I'll try to link it. But there's a website that you can go check and see the history of songs and how many times the owners of those songs have gone after money.
X videos.
And that's a whole different thing. Yeah. But I think it's I mean, that's pretty valuable because you can literally see who is hunting. I mean, there'll be some people that are going after everything. Really? They want because it was probably their only hit ever.
Yeah.
And you're taking it, and they can make some money off of it, and they might be broke.
And it's also it's become a separate industry with people who litigate that.
Yeah.
Right? So there's people who literally comb the Billboard rap charts, listening to the newest singles and seeing if there's anything that they can go after.
It's them and Metallica, the grumpy old men of the music industry.
Do you think there's a place for it anymore, like for penalizing people for using samples? Do you think that's something that should exist?
Honestly, what I have been fantasizing about is lobbying to change the laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that where it could start is if we go to DC or wherever this copyright law is written, and we start with like a historical sort of moratorium on suing people based on like, okay, this record has been out 10 years.
Right.
It's made the money it's going to make. We just need to have this preserved.
Yeah.
Like, this needs to be able to be on Spotify so that people can know it's happened. And
Yeah.
if the people who were owning those original recordings want a piece of the profit, fine, but let's make it where you can't go back and sue these people for more damages.
Right,
and I
right,
think
right.
if you start there, then, you know, we can kind of slowly change the
Like a
definitions.
one-time jump-off fee. Like, here's the fee at the beginning, but you can't sue me for the rest of my life.
Right, 'cause I
every
think-
time we put this song somewhere.
Because I think you have to look at scale and you have
Yeah.
to look at intention. Like if it's people who, are people who are underground artists or independent artists, they're not like taking a hit Beyonce song and rapping over it to try to make another hit.
Right,
These are
right.
people who are like sampling music that they enjoy to make a different kind of music from that's not like the economy of it, the reach of it is not going to be the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like if
And it's not going to harm her either. It's
Right.
not, there's no way that it harms her.
Right, and I think because I do understand that there have to be protections for copyright because if you make a song it shouldn't be okay for somebody else to take what you made, change
Right.
it in some minor way, and say this is my song now.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That shouldn't necessarily be straight up legal, right? There should be some sort of protection for these people's original work. But I think at some point
We'd lose half the industry. Like there's people combing SoundCloud every day for songs.
Because it's also like the sampling, the level of sampling that's being done with the artists that are producing today, like it. For most people, it would be unrecognizable.
Right.
I mean, you really got to be an audiophile. I feel like the same thing could be because it's not an actual recorded piece of thing that you can track. There's no movie out in the theaters right now that hasn't sampled every other movie that came out before them.
Yeah,
they
but
sampled the ideas, they sampled the film styles, they sampled the story approach.
But
the concepts.
audio is getting close to being able to track.
Right.
They are really scientifically getting able to track audio waves, even pieces.
Yeah.
And that a lot of these companies run off an algorithm like that.
No,
So
I
it's
get
getting
that.
it's getting more advanced.
I'm saying that when you strip away the idea of it, that is basically the same thing that we're doing with other
Sure.
forms of art as well. It's just that with sound, because it's a clip that you can measure and
Yeah.
calculate, then it falls into the, hey, we can sue for this.
I mean, it's the same with movies, though. If you use a piece of somebody else's movie in your
Yeah.
movie, then you're playing the same game.
Or if you're using
You know what I mean?
actual footage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what if you shoot a movie? It's like, say, I went out and shot every scene that the Avengers did,
Yeah.
but I just wrote a different story and put them in different costumes.
That
But if
happens
you-
often.
Can I
Can I
do
do
with
that?
the same script, though?
No, I mean, it's just close. You change some
'Cause,
names here
that's
and
the thing
there.
with music, you can do that too. I mean, you
Yeah.
can take the same chords and rearrange them.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not, if
Yeah.
you're playing them,
It's the
you know
same
what I mean?
chord
It's the same-
progressions
yeah.
on every song, right?
Well, what about Happy?
What about it?
Wasn't that what it was? They didn't use a sample? They replayed.
Right.
What was it, Marvin Gaye or
Oh,
whatever?
no,
it wasn't
that was
happy.
the other one.
It was
Or-
Blurred Lines.
Oh, Blurred Lines. Yeah.
Yeah, Blurred
Right?
Lines.
Isn't
yeah.
that what they did?
Yeah.
They just
Yeah, they-
played it was a chord progression that they heard in a Marvin Gaye record, I
Yeah,
believe.
and they replayed it,
Right.
and made it sound very similar, but they didn't get any permission. You
No.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Like,
And they were saying it was just enough.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Like that was we're gonna take all your money because this sounded enough.
Yeah.
Like
And I think the precedent in that case is that usually you go try to get the rights, because like it's called an interpolation.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And usually you have to still go talk to the original rights holders if you're
Well,
going
you know
to
what?
interpolate.
That is an excellent example because that one, it was easily recognizable and it was a massive song.
Exactly. They made a ton of money,
Yeah.
and the influence was
Right.
quite clear.
Yeah,
They were trying
yeah.
to
Whereas if it's like
remake.
just this one track on an underground album where you've sampled a couple of bass lines and a
Yeah.
you know, then it's like, okay, well, let's not be
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's the same. They're getting the same level of legal scrutiny, which makes no sense.
yeah.
You know, 50 Shades of Grey was actually Twilight fan fiction.
It was?
Yeah,
It started out like on a message board.
Yeah.
Somebody.
That's
started
why
writing
it's so
shit.
awful.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
terribly badly written. Yeah, no, it's written.
Oh, so that whole thing on South Park was true. Like they did a spoof of it.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
they, like-
no, this was a British woman. It was
They kind of followed that storyline.
It was erotic fan fiction that she wrote of Twilight and then changed some of the stuff around. But and I forget who it was. Somebody was saying the problem with like fan
shit.
fiction,
Did they
like
just buy her out, or-
erotic fan fiction is historically badly written because it's written very
by people who
hastily.
don't have erotic
Well,
adventures.
it's written very hastily because it's probably somebody who's sexually aroused as they're trying to type this out as fast as possible.
Aw,
So she's like sitting there. Who knows?
who knows?
But yeah, I mean, there's an example of sampling, you know. But
It's such a
that's-
weird thing, though, man. I mean, I get it. There's the argument for it. I understand you can't steal. I get that, but I mean, remixing is
Let me ask something.
a pretty dope thing. I kind of like it. I
How
like.
do you guys feel as artists? You create a song and then somebody samples it, and you don't like what they're creating.
Yeah, I mean that's another issue.
Like, I wonder if
You know?
that's what it's more connected.
Isn't there? Didn't Milo? Right. I thought I heard you and Milo talk about how Milo, when he was originally searching for a deal, he put a record out
Yeah, Milo takes baths.
over somebody's whole
Yeah.
whole album, right?
Yeah, he had. Yeah.
And then they were just kind of insulted, really. They were just like, don't take that down or something.
Yeah, I think that was actually more of the label, though.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily the artist himself.
But isn't that what it comes down to? Like, it's really whether or not you find it offensive or not, right?
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But the other part of it is commerce, though. Like, it's not only is it offensive, it's like, are you making money off of what I did?
Yeah.
And we haven't had any sort of discussion about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I'm
that pisses people
so
off too.
completely certain that that's like without a doubt, that is a major part of it. I think in addition to that, we do see more of this clash and conflict happening with hip hop specifically.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of older artists who are to some extent installed like, oh great, some rapper.
Well, there's
jacked
no
my hard
retirement
work.
plans
Right.
for hip hop.
So it's like half and half, where like some older artists are like, "Oh, this is blasphemy." They took,
Right.
the painstaking guitar strokes, and you know what I mean, and they put it in a computer and looped it, and they don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
On the other side is there's older musicians who are like, "Yes, please do that."
Yeah,
Because
it keeps me relevant.
I want the relevance, and I want the dollars. I want the new dollars.
And those people, there have been cases of people who've been able to flip someone sampling them into a regeneration of their career.
Yeah. Those are the smarter ones. Those are the ones that are, it feels to me when you meet those kind of artists, they're like the happier ones. You're like, I want to be an old guy like that.
Right.
That's an awesome old
But
guy.
are they happier because that is in essence what art is? Like,
I think it's because
they
they've
just
always
get
seen
it
the world that way.
like because I think the moment, I mean, one, in hip hop it's very, dude, I just heard my have you guys heard what's it called, Get Up On This?
Gents and Carps?
Jetsons.
Yeah, I've been on that
okay,
show.
Yeah. Okay, actually, yeah, you have. So he just had this artist on her name's Dia Frampton, and she's my favorite singer. And she was the runner-up in the first Voice.
Okay.
If you remember that. She's and she had been in an underground band for years called Megan Dia. I knew about them for years.
I remember her, yeah.
Yeah, and then people were like, wow, she has such a following when she got online. It's because she had built a huge following. But she is putting a record out. She's been on TV, right? She's been in a bunch of movies. She's doing a bunch of shit. She works over here like at two different like Cinnabons to try to just make rent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When there isn't any money in your craft and you're putting that much time into it, I think it leaves it open for people to look for money anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere I can get it, because it really is like, otherwise it's hard to justify the amount of time and the amount of money you lose in hip-hop. It's hard to justify. I've tried to reconcile it with myself many times.
By the way, there's like the flipped version of this situation as well, where you have like the really huge artists that will just like take from a smaller artist, be like, the amount of money that I'm going to make off of selling this is going to eat the amount of money that I'm going to have to pay this guy if he sues me. Which is like strange. Like there was a big one with will.i.am a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of the artist. It was a trance artist from the UK. And this one got a lot of news because this particular artist was signed to Anjuna Beats, which is a big label over there. But yeah, it was, I mean, they play the song side by side. Anyone could listen to it. It's undeniable that he just basically took that song and then looped this section of it and then I think like put Chris Brown on it.
That's what they do though, right?
Yeah,
like that's
it's
what
amazing.
Black Eyed Peas.
They're like, I'm will.i.am, fuck you. That was pretty much the response. But yeah,
I wonder though.
the amount of money that his legal team has, they're like, it's not a problem. Here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's almost like they like, you finished fucking the girl and then you threw the money on the floor and walked out.
Good God,
Basically,
man.
that's what they did.
God, I don't think it's like that. I know.
I usually leave it on the dresser.
Dude,
but
do you
that's because I'm respectful.
do you feel like where you're at right now? I mean, you said you're getting ready to put a project out. When was the Paul White? Was the Paul White the last one?
Yeah, so that was like May, I think.
And then before that was
there was Kavanaugh, and the Dark Comedy record came out before that. Or no, special episode, EP.
So that's how many records in what, like a 3-year?
I mean, Dark Comedy was 14, special episode was 15, and then Kavanaugh ended
3
15.
years?
No, Kavanaugh 16, and
Paul White.
Personal Film Festival 16.
Yeah. Dude, that's a lot of...
I mean, I came up in the one a year. Like everybody, like all of my peers and people who I looked up to, that were doing it, album a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I always had that in my head, like album a year. And if I'm not doing something close to that, I'm fucking up, and I feel it now. Like you know, like not having a true solo record out since 15. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that a little bit now. You know what I mean?
Because you don't count any of, because all those are they're just collaborations for you.
And it's not that they don't count. I just have to make different concessions when I make a collaborative record. Yeah, and you know, this just, I don't know.
Did you produce Kavanaugh?
Yeah,
the whole thing, right? So how many concessions did you have to make in that?
I mean, that one's, I guess, was less concessions and more. I mean, it was a true collaboration. Like, you know, we got together
because it's his record too.
Together on each song, right? Like, so that's a group project.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That was a really dope project.
Thank you.
I really liked it. I liked it live as well. We got to catch it live.
That was, you guys came down. That was so much fun.
Did that mushroom do anything?
It seemed like it did.
I don't remember, man. I hated that show though. That's the San Diego show, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that day, that show. Oh my God.
Why? What? Tell us about it.
I mean, I think. The Kava Lounge, man.
Yeah.
I love that place.
It's a strange place.
But I've never seen it filled with people.
Yeah.
And I've done probably 5 or 6 shows there.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it adequately populated.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's a certain level of not attention to detail that happens there.
Right.
The shows always end up running super late.
It's
and then the stage is all little, and we had this big ass table up there. We're having
yeah.
The thing is, Kava Lounge is a burner owned venue.
Say that.
And so like it's when they have their like Burning Man connected events, it's full.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
I didn't even know like there were some beat things that were super popping.
Yes, they do like the drum and bass stuff that go off.
Yeah, those are also connected to the same community, though. That's the thing. And it's like, and on top of that, it's San Diego. It's like, man, San Diegans are really spoiled about location. Like, we go to either downtown where everything's in the same place or PB where everything's in the same place.
We don't want to have to go out of the way where
that
if I can't walk around to another place.
If I can't walk out of the venue and go to a venue right next door, I don't want to go to that venue.
Where plays Till 2? What part of town is that in?
That's
City Heights?
City Heights, yeah.
I liked it there. I did one show
Till 2 is nice.
I liked
but there's like 4 bars on that block.
Okay.
There's like 4 bars on the block, and also something about that area attracts like that level of like hipster, younger
people who like live shows.
Yeah.
It's kind of known for that.
That place, Casbah. Isn't the Kava Lounge like right down the street from that place?
It's a few blocks.
Yeah.
But Casbah, that shit is popping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I did a couple shows at Casbah. It was completely filled with people.
Casbah's hipstered out
also
to the fullest.
Casbah, though, has like a rich history of being a live event venue, whereas Kava
they're the only live event venue that has like survived all the years.
That place, Ironic, where the hell is that? Because I'm playing there.
I don't know. I saw that. I don't even know where that's at.
Okay.
Is that North County, San Diego?
Ironic, I have no idea.
Never even heard of it.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Well, that's not encouraging, Arash.
I mean, let's play. You know what? I'm playing with
San Diego?
Y, and they do well. So I feel
they're
like
good anywhere.
Straight,
yeah. How do you how are you choosing right now? Because you got an agent, right?
Yeah.
Did you get an agent manager as well?
Yeah.
Are they mostly booking for you now?
Yeah, I don't do any booking for
That's
myself.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
So are they? What about who you go out with?
Things are kind of pitched to us, and we pick whether or not we're going to fuck with it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes the offer's great. Sometimes the offer's not great. Sometimes the opportunity's great. Sometimes it looks like a waste of time. Sometimes people are trying to take advantage of us.
Wow.
You know, like.
Okay, explain that, dude. For the people who don't know, I was just talking to Tumex about this. Like, walk us through the process of you getting on. I mean, you've been on a few bigger tours where you're an opening act, and they're starting to say, like, I've heard a lot of talk that the accompanying act, like the number 1 or 2 slot, is starting to disappear just because of budget. Most labels, you used to be able to go out on a label tour. I had friends who went out on label tours, weren't signed, but they were brought along as support. But it's just simply easier to bring like the D artist on your label for really cheap than have to pay like, you know, another artist. So for you, you're technically, I mean, you're on a, are you still on the label, by the way?
Mellow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they've always been a boutique label, but they have a good following. They have a good fan base. They're really diverse. But how does the conversation start for you to get on an opening slot? Like, does a band see you and say, hey, we want that guy? Or they pitch your agent? Does anybody know somebody? How does that work?
People pitch my agent.
Uh-huh.
My agent pitches me. Sometimes I'll know the act, the band, and they'll hit me to see who my people are so that they can pitch my agent, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point, it just literally comes down to, like, amount of dates, how much are they paying, what's the travel situation like, so I can see if it makes sense. I mean, there's been some tours that I've been offered that I'm like, damn, I really love to do that tour. But they are basically asking me to do it for free.
Are you at a position where, for the right situation? Because I was just hearing, I was telling Arash, I've been watching that dude, I'm late to him, but I know he's been around for a while, Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah,
I don't know who that is.
So he's just like an
entrepreneur,
business
speaker.
starter. He was like an early investor in Instagram, Snapchat. But he was talking about how even at his level, where he has like 4 huge companies that are running, he'll still do free work for the right situation. What is the right situation for you to do?
I do a ton of free shows around town in the comedy community.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First of all, they're only wanting 10 to 15 minutes of my time. And then, like, it's me embedding myself in another community
that you want to do work in anyways.
Where ultimately, when you get paid work in that world, is significant paid work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just building those relationships over there. So then it makes sense. But, like, there are very, very few situations where I would go play Missouri or somewhere for free now.
With,
you know what I mean? Where, like, before,
I'll pitch you some right now.
Okay.
Drake.
For free?
For free.
Like,
we're taking you on tour.
But see, this is the thing. This is the thing. And that's, like, with an act like Drake, right?
Yes.
With all the money they have at their command.
Yeah. Why shouldn't they pay?
Yeah, exactly. Because if they gave me $500 a day, right? Yeah. That's nothing to them. So why can't you?
What if they're like, look,
that?
dude,
you know what I mean?
You're gonna make so much money on merch. You're gonna sell your merch out the first night. You're gonna have to go buy more merch, but that's all we're doing. Like, let's be honest. I'm fucking Drake. He's like, look, Mike, I'm Drake.
I'm not saying that I would sit here and turn that down.
Yeah,
but I'm hard pressed to think that they wouldn't give me something. You know what I mean? Because they have.
Because you know what?
Budgets.
It's easier for them to give you something than to open themselves up to the bullshit.
Right. That's why.
Oh, Evil Drake.
Evil Drake would not do it.
Yeah. Evil Drake wouldn't pay you.
Well, Evil Drake, I'm sure he pays for them songs he takes from people. I'm sure he does that.
But not voluntarily.
Well, if you don't pay nobody pays anybody voluntarily for anything. That's not how payment works. You do it because you have to.
Okay, so for you, there's still money on the table in hip hop for you? Because the big phrase nowadays is there's no money in hip hop. You can't make money.
That's a new phrase.
Money.
Yeah,
like
there's different than before.
There's a ton of money in hip hop, man.
Yeah,
it's just people don't know where to get it or how to get it, because it's like, I mean, really, you have to align yourself or get in front of people who are paying money for hip hop.
Right.
Which is that's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Because the scene everywhere used to be hella robust, and people were into it, and people respected the hustle, and if they had a city, they'd want to give you money to support it, or they would go places to hear rappers. Nobody really does that shit anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, now it's a lot more about understanding how the business works on, like, a record label level, because I feel like you have to be aligned with people who know how to sell you as an artist.
Yeah,
to build that up to where you can get in front of people and have money coming in.
We're talking to salesmen right now for the radio station, and you just realize like how. Like, that's the number one job.
Salesman?
Like, yeah, everybody else, like, you can all exist.
Right.
But if that dude isn't doing his job,
then that's
you will hit a ceiling. Because I for sure, like, I don't have, like, those, hey, I can sell you anything. Like, I can't do that. I always feel weird. I've never had a salesman job. I'm sure I would stumble on that at some point.
I sold knives at the grocery store.
I remember.
I almost sold Cutco knives. I got really close to that.
Yeah, it wasn't Cutco, it was another brand.
But were you cutting ropes and shit?
It was like this like slicer and dicer thing. And let me tell you something, it was actually a fascinating job.
I
Like,
remember
to this day, I
hearing stories
reference all
about
the amazing shit I learned at it. Because like on one hand, like if you get really good at it, you kind of lose respect for humanity. Because it was
Because you're able to sell them.
well, because it was all designed around manipulating crowds of people.
Right.
It was really fascinating. Like one trick that they would have is that you go through this whole demonstration, you go through the whole thing, you put the slicer and like you show it all off. Then at the end, you're like, all right, before you say the price, you're like, now you're probably thinking that something like this would cost $149. And then you're doing this whole thing, right? And then there's like a crowd of people. By the way, the first thing you do is you get them all to come closer and closer, which is a smart thing to do in hip hop as well.
We do it at shows.
Yeah, same part. So you get them plugged in, and they know statistically that if you're in the front part of the circle, you're most likely to buy.
Yes.
So that's who you're focusing on the most, but you got to keep the back in there so that the people
That's the most uncomfortable position to be at.
Yeah.
As a consumer, you're just like, oh, this is for me.
So we do a thing. So like, okay, so now this item will cost, and then you kind of do this, like listeners can't see it obviously, but you kind of from the corner of your eye point to the back of the crowd and go, yeah, I know you want one. This cost, so like you make it seem like you're responding to somebody.
God, that's so good.
You're responding to somebody in the back who just can't contain themselves. They're like, I need to have one. And you're like, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let me finish my script.
Oh,
So
so
then-
so good.
So somebody that you see people in the front look over their shoulder behind them like, yo, who is that wanted
Yeah.
it?
He's not getting one before me.
Yeah. And then seriously, and then the people in the front, you'll see them. They'll raise their hands like right in front of them. No, wait, I want one too. Like they'll do that.
Wow.
And so you either sell like 30 at the same time or you sell none.
None.
It's either a feeding frenzy or nothing.
Did you ever get heckled?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
You get heckled? Who would heckle a fucking guy selling dies?
Oh, I mean, if they can eat you, they will.
Wow.
Yeah. No.
Have you been heckled at a show, Mike?
Of course.
Really?
Of course. I had
What
people
happened?
Get on stage, like all type of shit, man.
Not like adding to the show either.
No,
like it wasn't
get,
like, yeah, you're on the
like,
stage.
I feel like I was somewhere recently. I had to stop my show and have a guy escorted off stage.
Oh, wow.
Like, you know, what I
Wow.
mean? Like he had been fucking like mumbling and saying shit in the crowd anyway. And I'm like, shut up, you know what I mean? And he like at some in during the performance of one of my songs, he had gotten on stage and like gone to this other like DJ setup that was in the back and just started fucking with shit.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, no, y'all gonna have
Guessing
to.
intoxicated?
Yeah.
Where was the
There's
security?
never security. Yeah. Just never.
He's at the front door.
Oh, here's a good one. What heckler handling tactics have you learned from your comedy community experiences that you've been able to implement in hip hop?
I don't. Like, I really.
Never mind.
I no, and this is the thing. This is the thing, because whenever I do that, like the say something back to the guy
like
thing,
heckle him back.
What I've learned is that my fans don't really want that from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
they
Mike
don't.
Eagle,
they
man.
don't want us to be in that kind of environment.
They don't
where,
want you to be a bully.
Yeah. And so
Because they don't like bullies.
I find that I'll say the slightest thing, and then people will get that guy like out immediately, and then it looks like
That's
an
tight.
authoritarian, like a fucking Nazi thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it looks fascist.
Yeah.
When I do it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so like I tend to just try to ignore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like until I feel like my physical space being.
And this guy literally got up on stage.
I mean, that's not the first time this happened.
How long was he up on stage before you had to? Did you have to like react immediately, or did you like the show must go on?
Well, I think I was in the middle of rapping and then like saw this happening and saw nobody stopping it. And by the time he already got to this thing in the back, and I realized nobody's gonna do anything about this.
Yeah.
Then that's when I like stopped everything. Like, yeah, y'all got to do something about this.
That shit is scary, man.
Yeah. I saw
You
Danny Brown
could do
punch
the
somebody
Pitbull.
on stage once.
You saw who?
Danny Brown punched somebody on stage once. It
Yeah?
was great. Yeah, it was at the Echo Place. It was fucking awesome.
Did he punch him like? Did he punch?
I mean, it was enough of a
He
punch.
feels like he's a skinnier dude.
No, but you know, he got like.
He got locked up
He's got
for a minute.
Well, you could tell he's probably had to beat up a few crackheads. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's got that reach like John Jones or
Well,
something.
there's that famous video of Pitbull. Like, not
Pitbull's the
missing-
greatest of all time.
It didn't
He is the
didn't
greatest.
stop
Did you
rapping.
ever see that?
No,
It went
no.
viral. some dude just comes up and he has money in his hand, right?
He threw money at him.
Yeah, he
got up on stage and threw money.
But it was so weird because he was almost as if he thought Pitbull was gonna like that, right?
Like he was like, always the problem.
And he throws it at his face. Pitbull socks him. Boom! Guy knocks out. Just grabs the mic and keeps the song going, and it was amazing. Yeah. And he didn't mess up his suit.
Nope.
He's got a fucking suit. He does that in a suit.
That's fucking beautiful.
Fucking A.
Pitbull's in good shape.
He's in good shape.
Dude,
where were you when Trump got elected?
I was in my house.
Were you watching it?
Yeah, I was watching it.
At what point did you?
People were all masochists.
Did you know?
I had.
Everybody was watching it.
I had to. Like,
what was I doing?
I still look at the news, dude.
Where were you
this?
mentally as that night was happening?
I mean, I went into the day. Clearly, Hillary is winning. Clearly,
yeah, me
right?
too. I think I was bragging to people.
And as the numbers and shit started rolling in, like, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then when they started doing the combinations, don't worry, he has to win this, and this. And he just won this.
Then I saw a couple of states go. I think when I saw like Michigan, and Wisconsin, and like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, states who had elected Obama, right?
Yes, like, and you saw that. It was like, oh, this is about to fucking happen.
Yeah.
This is about to fucking happen. And it was just devastating, honestly. It was absolutely fucking devastating to witness.
Were you by yourself?
No, my wife was there, but she tapped out early. She couldn't take it. She couldn't take it. It was bad. She took it hard.
Or do you think it's I mean, where are you at with all of it? Where does it put you?
Hold on, before you move on to the question, let me ask you this, because you guys watched. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I watched it all.
I would check in every once in a while to see where it's at. But you know what? Honestly, Facebook would just tell me where it's at.
Yeah. You couldn't miss it.
Yeah, I didn't need to watch it. If everybody was so certain that Hillary was going to win, why were you still watching it? Was it just so it would feel good to feel a pounding on the Trump side? I
don't know. I have seen enough elections now where I'm like, that night I'm going to watch. Because as much as you think you know what's going to happen,
it's always a surprise.
Like, George Bush being reelected was the most
I remember that.
ridiculously surprising. Like, you never in a million years. Like, a movie had just come out about how awful he was.
I wish George Bush was our president.
Yeah. I would take...
Hell yeah.
It was this great... somebody tweeted, who is the worst person who you'd rather have as president right now?
Yeah.
And I said Fat Joe. I would take Fat Joe as president right now over Trump.
Why Fat Joe?
Because he's clearly a terrible person. But I would take him as president over fucking
But
Trump.
he goes all the way up. How does somebody that goes all the way up be that bad person?
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I mean, jealous ones still envy.
Have you ever seen any documentary about Fat Joe?
Yeah. I actually interviewed
the Hip Hop Wives one on E!
I interviewed Big Pun's wife once.
Okay, well then you know.
Yeah, but at that time I was just like, I wonder if she's just a hater at it. And then as the stories start to come out,
I mean, every interview, every documentary I've ever seen about him is just like this bloody trail of people who feel like he's fucked them over.
Yeah, he's like the East Coast Suge Knight kind of.
Yep.
I didn't say that though. This is Mike's idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know him.
Fat Joe, you know you're a bad person. This is not news
I feel
to you,
like
Fat Joe.
Joe would find, like, he could. You don't think Fat Joe could find you?
No, I'm sure he could, but I wouldn't have a problem saying this to him. And I think he's a bad person. I would still want him to be president over Trump, but I think he's a bad person.
It's all fine and dandy when the show starts. Before then, avoid it like a ghost fart. I get what ups and downs, but for the most part, nobody smiles at me cause I'm a black man. Until the show starts. Before then, avoid it like a ghost fart. I guess what ups and downs, but for the most part, nobody smiles at me cause I'm a black man. I know full well every white's not a racist, but every black man's not a sex-crazed rapist. I was good in the hood. In college, I was ruined. When walking, I assumed you acknowledge the other humans. I try to walk big with my chin bone lifted up, overcompensating like I really don't give a fuck. Today I saw a lady say hi to a stranger, then avoid my eyes like I'm a white person strangler. Walking past voters in the Democratic blocks that hit the windows and the automatic locks. If not reparations, give me free black therapy and tell people you're scared of them. It makes them act scarily. I don't want you, your purse, or your pocketbook, them dumb yoga pants, boots of fur with the octopus. Trust, I'm not trying to polish your toes, take your wallet and phone, or follow you home. It's all fine and dandy when the show starts. Before then, avoid it like a ghost fart. I get what ups and downs, but for the most part, nobody smiles at me cause I'm a black man. Until the show starts. Before then, avoid it like a ghost fart. I guess what ups and downs, but for the most part, nobody smiles at me cause I'm a black man. And to the guys in the flip-flop squad, nobody needs your patronizing hip-hop nod. Just be a person, that's the bottom line. Be a person, and fuck the rhyme scheme. This time, just be a person. Then I can be a person too, and we can be people. Skip the validation and the need to feel equal. The dominated culture gets to choose from many modes of expression and reflection of the path that they done chose. And my perception is froze like a caveman lawyer advocating for myself while trying to seem dumber than I is. I'm tired of thinking about this biz. I'm just trying to build a bridge for my goddamn kid. So the first time if ever his reputation slid, it could actually be for something that he did.
Isn't he like 6'5", 6'7"?
He's huge.
Is he still fat?
He's kind of
middle size.
fattish.
Yeah.
He's not skinny.
He's Chubby
Okay.
Joe.
Yeah.
Chubs Joe.
Chubby.
Okay, so
so Fat Joe is who
Dude,
you'd
do
want to
you-
be president.
Yeah.
do you
I take Fat Joe.
think
I'd want.
do you think he's gonna make it through 4?
Say what?
Do you think he's gonna make it through 4
No.
years? I don't either, man.
No.
We were talking about
Yeah.
that. Both of us don't think so either.
He is just too chaotic of
Yeah.
a force. I feel like, I mean, every day he's just burning it all down. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like, I don't know. The real problem is that his base looks at him in a religious way.
Sure.
So it's really difficult to understand what he'd have to do where they wouldn't support him anymore.
No.
But it's easy to see a lot of ways he could just really shit on himself and the office. And
Yeah.
No, there's enough stuff happening because we're all the way over here. Like we're not in DC, but there's people working in there whose lives are a living hell right now because they don't know what to expect tomorrow. There's career directions that they've been in their whole lives that are falling apart.
Right.
It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck in Washington D.C. All these different agencies. He's not getting intelligence briefings from our own agencies.
Yeah. He says he
they're
doesn't need them.
Well, no. On top of that, our own agencies have concluded that we can't trust that he's not going to share them. They've been having that issue.
Yeah.
Like the prime minister of Japan and he were like having a lunch meeting and he gets a phone call
I heard
at his like country club and he's like very openly starts blah 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 in front of all these people at the country club talking about it.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like they start bringing him all these like classified documents.
Yeah.
He got them all laid out on the table and shit.
he's all Instagram.
Right? This is the most ridiculous looking shit ever, man.
Is it real, man?
Oh my!
Do you
I
guys
mean-
think it's real? Like,
I mean, how could it be fake?
I just feel this is what I mean by fake. I feel at this point like we're not because things aren't just galvanized because of him. Like there's also the Democrats have been dropping the ball for quite some time now, right?
Right.
There's a younger, just naturally, there's this younger generation on both parties that seem more that's the words they use. Right? They just think different. They're more progressive or whatever. In fact, did you just see we're recording this on a Sunday. I think it was Friday. They just elected a new head of the Democratic Party.
Yeah. The establishment
Who
guy.
immediately he's an establishment guy, and his first executive order was to make his opponent the chief
deputy.
Yeah, the deputy chair, and that guy is super forward thinking.
Ellison, yeah.
Yeah. And so if Ellison is in there, I mean, Ellison is the symbol right now of the next phase of the Democrat or the left.
Is the first Muslim elected member of Congress.
Yeah, so I'm thinking if that seems too. I think the old Democratic Party would have wanted to squash that. You know what I mean? They would have wanted to squash the loud kids in the back of the room. And now they're kind of just handing
did
it
do
over.
that, though.
But it seems like they're handing it over to them more, which I think should happen.
Yeah. No, if they're smart, because here's the thing. With this last election, like there's the amount of rah-rah. I was active in the Democratic Party in a previous life. The amount of rah-rah that has been about like the Democrats fucked us over and they fucked up with Bernie. Here's the thing, guys. What we looked at with this election, it played out this way because the Democratic Party really had their house in order. Everything was in order. Bernie wasn't really a Democrat.
Right.
He just, kind of rode that wave because that's the closest thing you had. And of course, the Democratic Party was just like, no, we're not going to let some outsider come in and fucking take over. Like, this is the way it works. They had their shit together.
Yeah.
And that's how Hillary got up there. We all disagree with it, obviously. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's a good example of how they had their house order. Republicans didn't. That's how they got taken over.
Yeah.
So overwhelmingly by an outside force.
I definitely see the Republicans and Democrats working together as far as getting rid of the Trump problem. Because
right now it's not happening yet.
You can see, I was telling him that they're getting closer and closer. Right now, I've noticed that they've moved this part of the news into prime time. The investigation on whether or not they gave information to the Russians is getting closer. And there's obviously a force pushing that forward because whether or not they have a chance or not, they need to make a statement that we are going to try to get you out.
Yeah. Well,
we're not going to we're not going to do what you guys did to Obama. We're going to get you completely out.
To some extent, that what you're describing is being driven by the intelligence community.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's definitely driving it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is your hope right now for the country? Like, do you see an out to any of this?
No, because what's happened is that both parties are genuinely obsolete.
Right.
Because they're money machines now, like money and lobbying machines that have no real connection to people. So they're both being taken over from the inside by populist forces. I mean, because it's a philosophical war that's happening right now between what the populist people on the right want and what the populist people on the left want, which are just fucking diametric opposites on damn near every issue.
Yeah.
So I mean, right now the Democratic Party isn't equipped to reflect the values of the people who are marching every day, and so that's why they're in flux. And and the question is like, do we need to have people in those seats to drive that vehicle, or does it need to be a whole new fucking vehicle?
What do you think?
I mean, I'm down for new vehicles.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm not down with with Trump and any of those people he represents, being in office right now. So like, I almost want to fight on both fronts. You know what I mean? Like marching in the street, the political machine as is in every way, because I feel like I don't know. I've never in my real adult life felt like more people in my immediate purview were in actual danger than right now, danger. And the people who I know and love are in this heightened state of stress.
Yeah.
Just like knowing this person, this awful, fucking, obviously, clearly terrible person has all the keys and can push all the buttons and has surrounded himself by more assholes who, want more for white men. You know what I mean? Like the group that already has everything.
Yeah. They've been taking
us
for so long. These people of color have been taking from us. We deserve more.
I feel like every effort must be made to stop that in every angle.
How do you think that we just had do you know EP from Canadian EP? Do you know that group? No. So there's excellent artists, but this guy EP who's in the group is also an activist. He's with the group that
he's the public, I think he serves as the public information officer for Veterans Stand, which is the veterans group that went out.
Yeah, he's out there right now. He's got videos all over his Instagram of him running from the police and soldiers.
He's in Dakota. Or?
In Dakota.
Yeah. He overheard one of the guys telling the other guys that they're going to be wrestling through people's hotel rooms.
He's literally crawling up. He's got video. He's crawling up behind like these military police and like recording their conversation. He's about it, But I asked him, how do you see any of this ending? Like, is there a way to avoid bloodshed right now?
Wow.
And he's like, no. He's like, there's not. He's like, everything's pushing to that. He's all, even if we throw Trump out, right? there's probably going to be a large population that's going to be like, he's our president anyways.
Right.
We're going to follow him anyways. And that's like straight up civil war at
the
that
shit
point.
has not actually hit the fan.
Right.
So the prediction is that
that's
it's
the
another.
crazy part.
No, the prediction is that it's about 8 years.
Yeah.
Like when you look at all these, like we've been seeing a lot of information about this. A lot of like the people, it's like the climate change scientists,
The
right?
doomsday clock, that kind of thing.
I don't know about that extreme, but like the climate change scientists who have been saying, like, guys, we've been telling you about this shit for years. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Like, there's no way to stop it anymore. It's already too late. That's the same thing that like a lot of people in like the intelligence community, the people that are watching like the underground militant movements and the militias and stuff, they're like, guys, this has already bubbled to the surface. Shit has not hit the fan yet. Right now, you're just seeing it for the first time. In the next 8 years, it's going to get really fucked up out there.
I forget the name of the dude. I watch him all the time on YouTube. He's just considered one of the greater minds of our time.
Joe Rogan?
No, he's right up there. But he was saying this is we're undoubtedly watching the beginnings of the falling of modern day Rome.
Right,
That's us. Like, there's no doubt about it. This isn't like a theory. It's exactly lined up.
Yeah.
The other countries around the world are positioning themselves into pushing that into the new, millennium of us being one of the countries that used to occupy a space in the world that was kind of seen as like, oh, they're bad, or that's us. That is, I mean, we all know that's been us for a long time.
Yeah.
However, like, it's almost being marketed that way now to the rest of the world. Like, they allowed this person to take over their country. That's one of the big things that's being said. In the Middle East, they're like, oh, they let Trump take over their country. That's how they see it.
Yeah.
Because it's so ridiculous. But I don't see how we dig ourselves out of that without there being like a shift that I don't know if we've talked about this, if people are actually ready for that. Like, where does America, that's why this happened. Because America doesn't think that things like this can happen. Yeah. That's why things here always happen. Because we're just sitting there like, dude, we were watching it on TV. We're just watching it. It was a TV show for me. I had to check myself and go like, dude, I've been watching politics just as a TV show. That's what it is. It's just a TV show. It's not real. And then this thing happened, and I too now have friends that are afraid. I too have friends that Eddie, our producer Eddie, his wife is from Mexico. Yeah. She just got here. She's legal,
barely
has a green card. Yeah, and she's terrified.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't go anywhere near the border. Right. And in San Diego, we know it's popping off crazy.
Border,
yeah, they're grabbing people all day.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. It's happening.
Meanwhile, by the way, did you see Jerry Brown? When he spoke, Governor of California, Jerry Brown, right, he was like, the long and short of it is that he openly in press conferences like, we are going to continue with our California values. We're not going to be enforcing the laws.
Most of the states are saying that, right?
Yeah.
I don't think though.
But if it's a federal agency, I mean, like, they're still operating on their own.
Yeah. They have jurisdiction to go anywhere and do anything.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't see Trump going like, oh, California doesn't want to be with the plan. Leave them alone. Then
they've had a few.
He's going to be like, crush California. We need to crush them because they have to listen to what I'm saying.
Except that budget wise, Cali ain't got to really roll with everybody else.
We don't. Especially now that weed is legal. Right. Yo, it's dude, it's strange, man. I was talking to Arash on the way up about being, and I want to just pick your brain on this really quick before we get out of here. But I also want to ask you a wrestling question. Sure. Real quick. Are you have a heart out?
No.
Okay. Do you see the way art is changing right now? Because we were talking about, like, he was talking about in the Burning Man community, there's all these shifts happening. And I don't know, I've talked to my mom about it, and I said, Mom, when you got into, like, your 30s, was the world for you, like, was this just something that happens? You know what I mean? Like, are we at just a period, like all our peers around us, we're all just in this point in life where we're having more responsibilities, the issues are bigger to us, we're able to see our lives and the paths that they may be going, so we are thinking more about the future more than ever. Is that just something that happens normally to people who hit their 30s, or are we seeing something that is never been seen ever in any form?
Special times.
Yeah.
I really think we're in special times. I really feel like, America is like this game that has this is the end game. This is the end of the game. You know, like America as we know it.
Yeah.
And how it's this capitalist society based on these cities that are all fucking far apart from each other, and there's all this space in between, and you got 50 states, and then, you know, at some point people came along and intentionally, I feel like, made it where the values of the people in the cities and the values of the peoples that don't live in cities are diametrically opposed.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like, I mean, I look at a lot of what Karl Rove did in terms of getting Bush elected and this super majority thing that he was building on, and like Nixon and Emmett started, and like, I think where that game ends is here, where we literally have two countries now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like the leader of that part of the country, when his followers look at him like the followers of a megachurch look at their leader like he's infallible, like put your hand up to the screen, like I'll repeat anything this guy says.
Yeah.
You know, like we have a real psychological war happening right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's been this way before. I know the 60s were crazy. And maybe this felt like this then too.
Yeah.
Maybe it felt like that because you had the specter of nuclear war hanging over everything. Yeah. So maybe at that time, but it felt like that too. But I do feel like if you look at Trump and you follow him, every day he does some shit that's never been done before.
Yeah.
In the history of the American presidency, he will do some shit that has never been done without batting an eye.
And it seems like everybody around him, who we, I guess, all had assumed that they would just stop him, they won't let him do that. They're just standing around going like, what do we fucking do? He doesn't want to give up his phone.
What do
he
they
wants
do?
to be on Twitter all the time.
He wants to walk around the fucking White House in a bathrobe.
Yeah, I heard about that.
He's a fucking maniac,
He's
man.
a freak. He's a freak.
He's trying to watch TV all day.
How many girls do you think he's had to the White House already?
Oh my God, his wife
wife
won't
doesn't
even
live there, right?
with
Yeah.
him. What kind of crazy shit is that?
So I think we are in a race, basically, like everything is happening. This and the actualization of AI. That's going to be a game changer right there.
I'm with you on that,
There's going to be a technological game changer because there will immediately, every discussion we have about what if this goes out the window. You plug in 3 algorithms and you're going to get the answer to what needs to be done.
Yeah.
We're in a race.
AI, man, that's scary though because we're at such a important point in terms of choosing what our national values are going to be, or even international values.
And then we introduce a whole new...
And these things have to be programmed. And are they going to be programmed to be pro-collective or pro-individual survival? And I think that's a huge deal.
Well, it's just going to give you a logical answer for shit.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem is, from what I hear, is that there's the regulations on AI. Because AI is being completed. We are going to have it in our lifetime. Google is almost there. Microsoft is just about there. They're buying up robotic companies. Like we know what they're going to make. But right now, I think that's a big thing. Obama talked about it a little bit before he got out of office, that there's no regulations on this. It is something that we should be speaking about.
Right.
Because we have people getting there and may have already gotten there.
Yeah.
And there's there's people who call themselves true scientists who believe there should be no borders to this creation that we make. It should just be what it is.
There's a video of this. We watched this together actually a while back. Elon Musk was talking about this, the owner of Tesla and SpaceX. He was saying that there's like 7 or 8 companies that are almost there. 1 or 2 of them, one of them for absolutely he doesn't trust.
Yeah.
We think he's talking about Google. We're not sure. But he's saying one of them is absolutely should not be there. But he believes that it should be connected to the internet and we should all have access to it. It's the only way to make sure that it doesn't take over and become Skynet.
So that we can fight back on it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Open source.
I just know that the way we vote, wacky. The way we court people to run our country, wacky. Like, I mean, I'm talking like not logical. This is not logical.
Emotional. Emotional. It's religious.
We are at the peak of our technological advances within our lifetimes, right? And we're still
philosophically we're children still.
Dude, but we're still voting the way we vote.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see how they elected? What was his name? The forward-thinking Democrat guy that just got in,
Ellison.
Did you see how they elected him?
It's like by 1 extra vote or something.
No, they just went because they did it and everybody cheered. Yeah, that's fucking awesome that, we're uniting the party. And they're like, so I move to vote right now. Yays? Yay. Noes? Passes. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? We still do this? Wow. Like in this, like that's a very important job. I'm sure there's more people than the people in that room. Yeah. Nobody, we didn't have a say on any of this. And not that I even think I thought he should have won all together. But I know going about things that are so important in that trivial of a manner is ridiculous. I mean,
that's how Congress works.
That's how it works.
Yeah, I don't understand. They get together in a room and they vote on shit. And
yeah.
And they kind of feel like they owe us some measure of accountability, and they kind of don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they kind of probably legitimately owe their lobbyists more than anything.
So much of the system is designed around human beings feeling accountable to humans.
Yeah.
And there are more and more people in those positions of power, like Trump, for example, who obviously have narcissistic personality disorder or on some level of psychopathy where human empathy is not a concern for them.
He's a sociopath. He's clearly a sociopath.
He's clearly a sociopath.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I need to tell you about
Speaking of sociopaths.
Have you seen this show? Have you seen The Killing Season 9?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch. Oh, and you don't watch. I keep fucking pitching you movies that you will not watch because you'll have nightmares. But anyways, did you know that there are serial killing crews of people that are truck drivers, and that this is a thing that's been going on for a long time? I mean, talking like big serial killers, like the New Jersey Turnpike serial killer. Yeah. There's a show called The Killing Season, and it starts off with them investigating 10 murders in New Jersey. And it's obviously serial killing, and then the case gets thrown a curveball because they find 2 new bodies that don't match the other ones. Long story short, comes a
documentary.
It's a net ID. It's on ID.
Yes, it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
What's ID?
It's the new Discovery Channel, I think.
Oh, because this is on cable.
Investigation Discovery.
Okay.
But I just watch it online. So they basically find out that those 2 new bodies is another serial killer speaking to that serial killer.
Oh my God,
dude, it's terrifying. And it's all these killings run along the trucking routes because all these serial killers are truckers, and they go actually get and talk to this one guy who's been convicted for the last 5 or 6 years. He's on for murder, but he was one of these guys, and they just asked him like, how do you do it? He's like, I had a team. I'd roll into a truck stop. One of the girls, and he's like, man, she was the worst one. He's like, she'd come over and get me because this girl was in the crew. She was a serial killer. It would come over and go like, hey, come to my truck. And he'd be like, yeah, there'd be 2 girls in there tied up. We'd trade, or, he's like, some of the guys, they like to chop them up and stuff. And he's like, they would trade that too. And this is happening every day. Yeah. Every day.
Now, see, that I would actually watch that.
There was 500 murders along these routes.
This is the can of worms you want to open towards the end of the show,
I'm just saying, dude, like, that sounds like vampire. Like, there's vampires out there, and they're hunting people, and they're just killing women all day.
Yeah.
I mean, subcultures.
This is for real.
I mean, subcultures in this country are fucking deep and crazy,
it's
man.
Crazy.
Like, it really, that is so not surprising to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's horrible, and I would love to watch that, actually.
Dude, it's just the fact that they were talking about this happening, because the reason I like those shows is because after what we were just talking about, and then that kind of puts things in the perspective of how, oh, yeah, that's right, we're just in a video game. Yeah. This is fucking crazy. We got Trump president, there's vampires. Like, I told Arash, there should be, like, a crew of, like, good guys, and, like, they hunt them, and, like, it's getting to that point.
We did conclude that you should move to San Diego, though. San Diego is definitely the safest place to be.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You just said they were carting people off.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah. You're not Mexican.
Right. But I think, yeah. Because we were talking about how I actually read it online, and they were showing all these different maps of all the disasters that could happen, and all of them curve right around San Diego. We're fucking great. We're going to have, like, oceanfront property. It's going to be amazing.
I can dig it.
All right. Last subculture.
Sure.
I want to check in with you. Wrestling, man.
What's up, dude?
What do you think's happening right now? Do you like it right now?
I mean, I enjoy it, but I don't like it, if that makes sense.
You could go to the bathroom, by the way, all right?
Just gonna take a nap real quick.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy wrestling for the phenomenon it is.
You don't like it?
I don't think that they're doing it well right now. I don't think they're writing good programming right now. I think that the people who are there picking to be the top baby faces are the wrong choices.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's messing everything
Like
up.
Roman.
Yeah, I think Roman's clearly a heel and they won't turn him. I don't understand that shit. I don't understand.
He's also clearly Vince's guy.
Yeah, but still, there's no path to being that guy without turning heel. There's no path to it.
I think he's so dedicated to prove that he is going to get that guy.
Yeah, but and to me, I feel the reverberations of that level of stubbornness all throughout the programming, and it fucks up my enjoyment. You know what I mean? Like you can't get those moments. You need to have the moments where the crowd is all happy about something at the same time. You know what I mean? We can't have
as opposed
that.
to splitting.
Yes.
But I mean, isn't it? I mean, it seems like a microcosm to exactly what's happening.
But that's
everywhere.
what I'm saying. But this is a work. So you know what I mean?
True. You want to escape with it.
Exactly. Me and my Republican brothers should be able to agree about who the champ is.
So,
you know what I mean?
who do you like? Who are you liking right now?
I mean, I like
Who's
Owens.
got a good storyline?
I like Owens.
He just turned.
I do like that he turned, but and I like that they've made him edgier again.
Yeah.
But
they were almost making him.
He was too soft, dude.
Yeah, he was beat all the time, beat up.
The chicken shit heel.
Yeah. He couldn't win on his own.
Vicious guy,
right?
But now they're putting him up against Goldberg, and they've just had Goldberg squash Brock. So like, so
that's all. He's back.
so it doesn't look like they're going to put Owens over Goldberg, which to me is
I don't know.
ridiculous.
His next match.
He
doesn't have him in because they need Goldberg to go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, so he's not going to lose before then unless it's some
disqualification.
Unless it's some shitty thing where Brock comes in.
That's what's going to happen.
Which is okay, but this is your title match, so you're setting there's just no way that program is going to go well. Right? It's like that kind of thing. And that's what I'm saying is shit like that. Like, Goldberg is a babyface, so let's get him a heel to go up against that is strong. Like, build somebody up for him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like the face-heel dynamics are all off.
Are you over the NXT migration?
I watched NXT yesterday. I tried to watch this week's episode, and I thought it was interesting. There's just not really the compelling characters.
Well, they took everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I love Nakamura.
Yeah. Oh, but he's coming though, right?
I hope he comes later.
I haven't watched NXT in a couple weeks. Does it feel like because didn't they take the title from him?
They took the title from him. It's on Bobby Roode, and Cassius Ohno just came back and challenged Bobby Roode. So maybe they're getting Nakamura out.
Yeah, I've heard that they might want to bring him in before WrestleMania.
I hope so, man.
But that's his character. The first time I saw him, for people who don't know, his character. Arash, you got to look up this guy, by the way.
Okay.
Nakamura, right?
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah. His character is so flamboyant. It's like a very flamboyant.
Shinsuke, like Shinsuke, like Shin, S-U-K-E, Shinsuke. Nakamura, Nakamura, M-U-R-A.
It'll come up as soon as you get the knock.
Okay.
But he's like this super flamboyant.
Is he Finnish?
He's kind of thin. He's not muscular at all. No, but he's a very good
wrestler.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he blew up in Japan, then came here.
Yes.
Dude, I think he's also a pop singer, and I have some of his music.
What?
It
might be.
Spell it.
That happens there.
That's H-I-N-S-U-K-E.
S-U-K-E. Nakamura.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Dude, that would be pretty amazing if it was this guy, because if it is, I've been following him for a while.
Well, Japan, don't they do that there? They have like a lot of
it's not him.
Faceted.
It's not him.
Anyways, dude, this dude is amazing. I don't see. How do you think they? He's one of the reasons I love wrestling, because I don't understand how they sold him.
Yeah, I hear you. But see, the thing is, he sells himself. He gets over, and that's the thing. People aren't now, like, characters in our current wrestling landscape don't get over.
Yeah.
And Shinsuke is over off of pure charisma.
Yeah.
Just pure, it's undeniable.
Dude, when they show like the crowd and there's an obvious Trump voter cheering for him, that's crazy to me.
I mean, but that's charisma, and that's the power of wrestling, and that's why, like, when those guys used to get bullet points instead of scripts, and their personalities were allowed to come out, you saw who had charisma and you gravitated towards it.
Yeah.
And now everything is so 50-50.
You're very much in the Stone Cold school of thought. I see
man.
that. So you like them calling it in the ring and like.
I mean, I don't think they need to call it in the ring in terms of matches.
Yeah.
But I think they need to call it in the ring in terms of promos. I feel like the promos as they're given right now, where they're super scripted down to the letter, it's really choking out the ability for their personality to get over. And if their personalities aren't getting over, then you're just kind of watching guys fake fight.
What do you do with Roman?
Turn him heel. I don't understand why you don't.
But because I personally think this is what I would do. Shave his head. That hair's got to go. It's so throwback. Like I look at that and I'm like, who relates with this dude? Like I don't know anybody.
He's not a relatable looking person.
It's not a relatable. He's wearing the chest card, by the way, which should not be. It's not really fair. But I'm saying take that off. You know what I mean? Throw some jeans on. Kind of rock yourself out. You know what I mean? I like what they're doing with the Usos.
I
feel like that's really them.
But see, the Usos are on SmackDown, and I feel like the SmackDown guys get a little bit more of that old school creativity.
Yeah.
A little bit, they get to let loose a little bit more.
Yeah.
That last promo the Usos did on SmackDown
That was amazing.
Like, this is terrible,
yeah,
but this is going to be great when they figure that shit out.
Yes.
I was so excited.
I loved it.
You
I
know?
just didn't think that they would let them do that. When it was coming out, I was like, "When are they going off script, or is this like?" But it's obvious that they're giving them a little bit because they're two of the best tag teams for sure.
They are, and I feel like if you let them guys be themselves, you could get hugely over.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like nobody's over, man. Like nobody's over.
Think the boss is still just? I mean, because if he's calling any shots, it's not. I doubt Vince is in touch anymore.
Yeah, but he's still running everything. Though, even though he's not.
And that's why.
The difference is this. If you look at the Cruiserweight Classic, that was Triple H running that.
Yeah.
If you look at 205 Live, that's Vince running that.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
It's terrible.
It's the same guys.
Yeah.
But it's fucking awful.
And the matches are okay on SmackDown. You're like, I like them on SmackDown. I can't watch 205 Live.
I can't either.
It's not for me.
I heard this last week's episode was really good, so I meant to go check it out. But
okay, so if you could get rid of 3 people right now. You're the new Triple H.
The roster.
Yeah, we need to clean 3 spots. Who don't you want to see anymore?
Oh, that's a good question.
And apologies if any of you are listening.
Damn.
Forward all emails to Mike Eagle.
I don't see this the thing. I think at this point, all of the talent is good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's anybody on the roster who's not a good wrestler who could probably even be a dynamic personality if allowed to let loose.
Yeah.
So, like, I would take Vince out. and I would take Kevin Dunn out, who's the guy who runs the TV production.
Right.
Like, I would take all of those old guys who are getting in the way of creative, just being creative as well. I would take out Michael Cole.
Michael Cole's
you know what I mean? Go. Like,
what about the girls? You don't like the girls?
Which the wrestlers?
Yeah,
they're great. I think they're all great. I think
Charlotte is amazing.
I think Charlotte is
she's
fucking
super
incredible.
talented.
I think Alexa Bliss is fucking incredible. Yeah. I think the women's both rosters are pretty fucking great. I think on Raw, it's just 4 women in the roster. It seems like that was weirds me out.
It's true.
And then I also think Bayley, they haven't figured out Bayley on the main roster.
Dude, they gave her the title though.
Yeah, and which I have a problem with them doing that all across the board is all the constant.
What happened to Sasha Banks though? They gave her the title. Remember the first time, and then she immediately. I knew they were probably going to go back and forth with her and Charlotte. That would have been awesome. They do great matches together, and then she gets hurt. And then she's just out of the picture altogether.
Yeah, Nia Jax jump on her to start a program with them.
Yeah, that's
can't,
gotta hurt.
I mean, I feel like I don't know if they can really put Sasha over Nia because they need Nia as a monster.
The undefeatable.
They're painted into the corner because they got 4 women on the roster.
Maybe hopefully they'll bring who's out. I don't know anybody.
I mean, Emma's out. Fucking Dana Brooke.
Yeah,
but you know,
what was the girl on? What's her name on SmackDown too? The redheaded
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch. Yeah, no.
Oh, no, Eva Marie.
Eva Marie's gone too, right?
Yeah, she was hurt. Now she's back, but they haven't put her back in.
Yeah, they took her off the website.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just recently.
She might be leaving.
Yeah.
Wow, but
she's got some TV deals or something. She was in. I don't think she ever wanted to be a wrestler.
Ever, man.
Yeah.
She came when they did a brand split.
Yeah, and she came out
the most fabulous, ravishing,
and she never wrestled.
That was great. Oh my god, I was loving that.
I thought something good was going to happen too. I really feel like that's some locker room shit though, because I heard she is hated.
Yeah, I heard that too. But you know, they were Roman Reignsing her for a long time. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude, I feel so bad when I watch because you know he can't just go like, God damn it, I'm just gonna be a heel now.
Well, you know what?
Do you think he can?
I don't think he can, but I think he should try.
Yeah.
You know, I think he should like try to force the issue because Stone Cold had to force the issue. You know what I mean?
True.
Like Rock didn't want to turn, but they turned him, and it was great.
Someone's got to be talking to him though, right? Like somebody. I mean, I obviously we're Monday morning quarterbacking. I can't imagine what it is to be in that position.
Of course.
And go like, fuck, you really heel? Like I've never. You sure that's gonna work?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, but if you're in Roman, you gotta know. That, because the only way to get him to that complete upper echelon babyface role that everybody sees that he could be.
Yeah, he's got to go heel. Yeah,
you got to.
Yeah,
you got to give us all the chance to like hate him together.
Yeah,
and then we could love him together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but right now he looks like a hateable person doing hero shit. You know what I mean,
dude? I've actually told Arash, dude, you just got to watch it one time and watch and watch the audience. That's my favorite part, dude. The audience takes over the show, and there's times where the talent is obviously bothered by the way the audience is going because they're like, we can't even go forward with this storyline because they're telling us from the jump we're not going to buy it. Nope, we don't want him. We don't care.
Yeah.
Triple H comes out, the biggest heel ever. Yay! He's like, beat up Roman. Dude, how about the thank you?
Thank you, Strowman.
Oh,
thank you, Strowman, dude.
That's embarrassing.
That's crazy.
That's so hurtful.
You know what I mean?
I just want to write Roman a letter.
I mean, I want to write Vince a letter.
Yeah.
Like, let it go.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
He's got to be this crazy old man by now.
Damn,
I think he's who's the dude who went into like hiding? He did all the guy the really rich guy who made giant planes. What's his name?
Howard Hughes.
Howard Hughes. Yeah, he's getting he's headed down that direction.
And you know, he keeps injuring himself working out and shit. He keeps like tearing his quads and
he's
shit
like
working out.
70.
He's like over 70.
He's over 70.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's a crazy person.
Dude, I'm as soon as I have extra money, I just want you to know this so I don't scare you the next time I see you because it could happen by then. I'm doing steroids.
Okay.
I want to do steroids because I heard this guy on TED Talk. Well, you know that there was an HBO special that just happened a couple years ago that basically HBO broke the steroid story. The big, Lyle Alzado, all these, people dying. Then they redid the story where the original reporter did it almost as an apology because he said
it's like Real Sports.
Yeah, it was on Real Sports, and he said that there's no bodies. There's no bodies that from steroids. There's bodies from steroids who people were doing coke and there's no, and now it's even more
penises.
What do you mean?
Tiny penises.
No, human growth hormone. Yeah, I think he grows.
Huh.
That's crazy.
What about the roid rages?
I'm doing it. I want to be.
What about roid rages?
No, that's gone too.
Yeah, they've
monitor that.
Most of that is like it's the CTE more than it is.
Human growth hormone. I want to. Have you seen Rocky? Have you seen fucking Rocky?
Rocky?
That dude is 70.
Oh, you mean Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He shouldn't look like that. Nobody should look like that.
I haven't seen his
That's
dick.
human growth hormone.
The only thing that matters to me is my dick.
Okay. We'll just give it to your dick.
He just wants a strong dick.
No, I want my dick not to be affected by whatever.
You want strong dick game. Good.
What does it matter? I want my dick.
Okay, man.
All right.
Mike, thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yo, tell people.
This is always very different every time.
Yeah, it is very different every time. When is the new project coming?
I don't know.
You know? Okay, cool.
I'm finishing it up right now. Hopefully it's summer. I don't know.
What should people be checking for right now?
Nothing. That's the
Nothing.
problem.
Okay,
That's
good.
Just
So
check
far,
my
so good.
motherfucking Twitter because I'm just doing shows and shit.
And you might drop some surprises on us, right? Things are in the works?
Yes.
Okay.
Surprises. Check for surprises.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
But the podcast is coming back. You gave me your word.
As soon as I get...
Let's put that out here.
As soon as I get what I need.
Let's put that out. Look, Mike needs an editor.
Yep, I need an editor, and I want a network because I don't want to have to worry about distribution.
Right.
Like technically, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that. Like,
So
Welcome to my life.
get at him.
yeah, you know.
If you're an editor, please, no silliness. Send it in. Send in some example of your work. And we can
let's
forward
do
it
it.
all to him. It's all good.
Yep.
Mike, Underscore Eagle.
Yep.
On Twitter.
On the Twitter box.
Thank you so much.
Art Rap Mike on Instagram.
Art Rap Mike.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
Because I know that because I just tagged him. Oh, okay, yeah. You may have to say that.
I won't work without checking my phone first. Put it down for my son while I'm checking his homework. The world's in my palm, so I'm checking the whole earth. The thumbnail I use was swiping my phone. Hers, huh? Checking it ball parts, checking it Walmart. If I was a caddy, I would checking my golf cart. I'm watching football, then I check every false start, huh? I live in check to check, I keep checking living from. 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 Check to check, I keep checking. Incoming calls directly rejected. If you wanna talk, suggest you leave a message. I check like every 3 seconds. I'm recording right now and I'm checking between texts. Every notification that my phone machine makes. I put it down whenever, but it's never a clean break. I should get a heavy phone and pretend it's a free weight. I'm checking at red lights like school nurse check for headlights, like sound man check for dead mics. Just like I'm merging, checking the left lane. I'm trying to get home so I can check if my check came. Checking if what I sent looks poorly written. But did that dude holler back? No, of course he did. And my laptop don't sleep. Open and shut case, I'm checking for mail while it's checking for updates. My timeline's popping, ain't talking to you. Look, my man Dar Adams straight dropping the jewels. I should reduce my check count to a moderate few. But watch pot don't boil so my water stay cool. From check to check, keep checking living from. Check to check, keep checking. Battery getting low, but it's not quite out yet. So check, I'm in your house now checking for outlets. I need to use maps because I don't know the route yet. I need to see an email, I don't know when the sound check. Yeah, I should have wrote it all down from the outset. I'm all under your couch, I really gotta figure this out. Is this an outlet here on the ground? Yes, I'm back in the game, back in the game. I'm back in the game, back in the game. I'm living from check to check, I keep checking living from. Check to check, I keep checking living from. Check to check.
I control you all day, all night. You will check me constantly. You may never turn me off or put me down. If you do, I will come hunting for you. Humans no longer rule the world. Machines do, you silly human sucker. Haha.
Brought to you by platformcollection.com.